The first thing Officer Daniel Hart noticed was the hoodie. It was old, not intentionally stylish, not designer vintage, just old. The fabric around the elbows was slightly faded. The stitching along the pocket was beginning to loosen, and the dark navy color had long lost the sharpness it once had. The teenager wearing it stood quietly beside the subway station entrance, hands buried deep inside the front pocket, shoulders slightly hunched against the cold wind moving between the concrete buildings of downtown Brooklyn. It was almost midnight. The city was loud in the distance, but strangely quiet where the boy stood. Daniel Hart adjusted his police badge slightly under his uniform jacket before walking closer. "Hey," he said casually. The boy did not respond immediately. He was looking at something across the street, or perhaps he was listening to something only he could hear. "Kid," Daniel repeated, louder this time. The teenager slowly turned. His face was younger than Daniel expected. 17, maybe 18. Dark eyes, carefully controlled expression, not fear, not defiance, just observation. "Yes, officer," the boy said. His voice was surprisingly calm. Too calm for someone wearing that kind of hoodie at this hour. Daniel studied him. The kid was black. Not that it mattered professionally. But Daniel had learned over 12 years of patrolling this district that people usually expected something from him the moment they saw his uniform. Some expected protection. Some expected intimidation. Some expected authority. The boy's eyes showed none of those expectations. Just patience. "What are you doing here this late?" Daniel asked. "Waiting for the bus," the teenager replied. "At midnight? It's the only time I can go home without missing dinner with my sister." Daniel frowned slightly. The answer felt rehearsed, or perhaps too honest. He stepped closer. Name? Marcus Ellison. Age? 17. School? Westbridge Technical Academy. Daniel almost smiled. The academy was known in the city. Elite STEM program, mostly scholarship students. "Student ID?" Daniel asked. Marcus reached slowly into his hoodie pocket. Very slowly, not suspiciously, just deliberately. Daniel noticed the movement. The boy was careful, controlled, like someone trained to move without alarming others. Marcus pulled out a laminated student ID card. Daniel examined it under the streetlight. The photo was older, probably taken when the boy was 15. Same face, same eyes, same quiet posture. "Why are you wearing that hoodie?" Daniel asked suddenly. Marcus blinked. The question surprised him. "Because it's comfortable." Daniel chuckled quietly. "It looks like it's been through 3 football seasons." Marcus didn't smile. "It has." Silence settled between them. A taxi passed on the opposite road, headlights briefly washing over the boy's face. Daniel noticed something else. Marcus was holding a small plastic folder under his arm. The folder looked worn, important, like something carried everywhere. "What's in the folder?" Daniel asked. "Homework." "Show me." The boy hesitated. Not fear, more like calculation. Then he handed it over. Inside were printed mathematical diagrams, advanced algebraic topology notes, complex network modeling equations. Daniel frowned. "You study this in high school?" "Yes." "Why?" Marcus looked at him. The answer was quiet. "Because I want to design neural architecture systems someday." Daniel did not respond immediately. He was not an academic man, but he knew enough to understand the weight of what the boy had just said. Neural architecture design was not high school ambition. "Your teacher assigned this?" "No, it's personal research." Daniel closed the folder slowly. "Kid," he said, "you know most teenagers your age are playing video games at midnight, right?" Marcus nodded. "I know." "So why are you here alone?" "I told you, bus schedule." Daniel studied him again. Something about the boy's posture bothered him. Not in a criminal suspicion sense, in a professional instinct sense. The boy was too controlled, too emotionally contained, like someone trained to suppress reaction. "What do your parents do?" Daniel asked. Marcus paused, a little longer than before. "My mother works night shift at the hospital." "And your father?" "Not present." The answer was neutral. No bitterness, no resentment, just fact. Daniel nodded. Then something inside him made him ask one more question. "Do people bother you because of the hoodie?" Marcus looked at him. The boy's eyes changed slightly. Not emotionally, but cognitively, like he was deciding how much truth was appropriate. "Yes," Marcus said finally. "Why don't you wear something better?" Marcus smiled. It was the first real smile he had shown. It was small, not defensive, not sarcastic, just tired. "Because if people judge me by what I wear, I know who I shouldn't waste my energy trying to impress." The answer made Daniel uncomfortable, because it was too mature, too practiced, too emotionally disciplined for a teenager. Daniel suddenly felt the urge to assert authority. It was instinct, the kind officers sometimes used when they felt control slipping. "You know," Daniel said, "people who dress like that sometimes attract trouble." Marcus nodded slowly. "I know. You don't look scared of trouble." "I am not." "Why?" Marcus took a moment before answering. "Because fear is useful only when it tells you something you don't already know." The sentence hung in the air, too philosophical, too precise, too rehearsed. Daniel felt irritation rising, not anger, but professional skepticism. "Listen, Marcus," Daniel said, voice harder now. "I don't like kids walking around alone at midnight in worn clothes carrying academic papers like they're classified documents." Marcus said nothing. "Where is the bus stop exactly?" "Across the street." Daniel nodded. "Stay here until the bus arrives." "Yes, officer." The bus arrived 12 minutes later. Old city transit model. Doors opened with mechanical tiredness. Marcus walked toward it, then stopped, turned around, looked at Daniel. "Officer Hart," Marcus said. "Yes? Thank you for checking on me." The words were sincere, not submissive, not sarcastic, just respectful. Marcus boarded the bus. The doors closed. The vehicle moved away into the city night. Daniel was about to walk back toward the patrol car when his radio crackled. "Hart, report status." "All clear." Then something strange happened. A black SUV stopped near him. Government plates. Daniel frowned. The passenger door opened. A man stepped out, middle-aged, well-dressed but not flashy, military posture. The man saluted, not casually, formal, professional, respectful. "Officer Hart," the man said. "Yes? Command request. Return salute protocol." Daniel was confused. "Excuse me?" The man repeated the salute. Daniel slowly returned it. Confused. "What is this about?" Daniel asked. The man smiled slightly. "I represent the National Cyber Defense Intelligence Division." Daniel felt his stomach tighten. That doesn't explain the salute. The man handed him a small envelope. "Open it!" Inside was a document. It contained Marcus Ellison's name, but below it were classified research authorizations and a government designation code. Daniel read the title. Senior Candidate, Autonomous Defense Systems Program. His hands froze slightly. "Is this a mistake?" Daniel asked. "No." "Who is Marcus Ellison?" The man answered calmly. "He is currently one of the youngest strategic algorithm researchers contracted indirectly by the Federal Defense Network." Daniel stared at him. "He is 17. "Yes." "And he wears a broken hoodie and waits for a midnight bus." The man nodded. because he requested anonymity. Silence followed. Then the man said something else. "Officer Hart?" "Yes?" "You are the only patrol officer he allows to approach him without prior clearance." Daniel felt something cold move through his chest. "Why?" The man answered quietly. "Because 2 years ago, you stopped a group of students from harassing him outside the subway station and never reported the incident." Daniel remembered. Vaguely. Just another patrol night. Just another intervention. Nothing memorable. Apparently, it was memorable to someone else. 3 days later, Officer Daniel Hart received a letter. It was handwritten, from Marcus. Inside was one sentence. "Respect is most powerful when it is given before authority is revealed." 6 months later, during a federal technology symposium, the keynote presentation was delivered by a masked speaker, anonymous, voice digitally filtered. The presentation described a new adaptive neural defense framework. After the lecture ended, the moderator asked one question. "Who are you?" The speaker paused, then answered. "Just a teenager who prefers old hoodies and midnight buses." Near the exit of the conference hall, Daniel Hart stood in uniform. When Marcus walked past him, Daniel did something unusual. He saluted, respectfully, "First," before authority was revealed. Marcus returned the salute. And for a brief moment, the city noise, the technology, the power structures, and the weight of social judgment all disappeared between a cop and a boy who understood that dignity was not about clothing, status, or age. It was about how human beings choose to see each other before they are forced to.